beard and eyebrows to your characters. You can make a bearded woman if you want, go for it. But basically, they're meshes that are now, skinned and attached to your character's skin. They're separate meshes, so they'll conform with the face, and you can manipulate them and modify them in different ways, which I'll show you a little bit later on. Okay, so we got a cool. Hopefully, everyone can still hear me. I think my audio is on. I'm just double checking here. Yep. Okay. If there's any more issues, there's gremlins in the computer right now. Just put those in the chat window and let me know. Okay, we'll try and continue on anyways. Okay, so let's get into the live demo part. And if you have any questions, you can put those in the Q&A panel. I forgot to mention as well, we always send out the survey at the end of this webinar. If you fill out the survey, you get the 10% discount for the content store, as with every webinar. So make sure you fill that out and get your little discount there and give us feedback. For any topics you want to hear about in the future, or ways you can think you can improve the software or the presentations, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, so we're going to be recreating this female character. We're not going to be recreating her. We're going to be animating her face later on. We're going to be recreating a different character. We're going to be using Replica Studios to create some AI generated voices for the characters.
I am the teeth in the darkness, the talons in the night. Mine is vengeance and hatred. I am Freya.
Okay, so in case you're wondering, we basically created this in like a few minutes using facial motion capture with Apple ARKit and your iPhone, as well as some very subtle lip sync animation and editing using Aculips. And I'll basically walk you through the entire process to recreate that at the end of today's webinar. But before we do that, let's go to another character I'm going to show you here. Let me just open up the recent projects here. This guy here is much creepier looking than the woman we have on the screen right now. And he's the one we're going to kind of just basically recreate because I'm going to use like I mentioned, I'm going to demo the beard and brows. I was going to say beard and brows system there. And just kind of generate some really easy and quick lighting as well. So this guy has much more creepy look here. You can see slowly licks his lips there, and then this is some guy you'd meet in a post-apocalyptic landscape that you don't want to really mess around with. Anyways, we'll explore how to do the tongue stuff and the lip stuff later on. Fun times. Okay, let's start from a new project then in Character Creator, and we're going to recreate this guy and send him to iClone. Okay, so you get your general start off here in Character Creator. I'm not going to go into details on a lot of the stuff. I'm just going to kind of show you the quick way to create a character. So we're going to use like pretty much pre-made content. I'm not going to do much custom stuff. So let's just go to our main content tab here under Projects, and under Avatar, under Human Anatomy. Now, this is only available, be aware, if you've purchased the SkinGen Premium plugin, you'll have this Human Anatomy, which basically includes a number of different characters that you can just basically start from. They're starter templates. And I'm going to use this male thin one to start with here. We're going to replace all. This is a project, so it's going to replace everything you see on the screen right now, including the clothing. I don't think we want to see this guy in a bikini, but thankfully we won't have to, because it'll just be replacing everything essentially. And once he gets in, we're going to basically just really modify his morphs a little bit. We're going to talk about the morphs, the morph shapes, the blend shapes on your character's face, adjust those. And then we're going to finally talk about some, very simple and easy skin gen editing, which includes, there you go. Looks like a really hasn't had some food in a while, this guy. We'll just say that. Emaciated is the word. So here we have this guy we're going to start from. We're going to make him a little bit more chunky. Going to give him a bit more, stuff on the face. So I guess essentially right now we're just going to start with the body morphs. We're going to make his body a bit more meaty, like I said. And the way you can do that, if you start with a project and you go to currently use, there won't be anything on the project because basically all of these morphs are already baked into the project. So again, in content, we're in the projects section over here. If we use one of these, then it's not going to show any stuff on the recently used section of your morphs, or currently used rather, because it's already baked into this character. But if we want to, we can go to like body, for example, or even full body, and we can type in something like heavy or fat. And here's this body fat, for example. You can see if we increase that, we can make him a little bit heavier just by adjusting that slider. And don't worry about the rib shadows and everything like that. That's actually done using skin gen. I can adjust that later on as well. So we have the skin, we can make him a little bit like chunkier just by maybe putting that up to 30. And this is a different sort of body fat here. Okay, we don't want it to be like too fat. Just it'll look too weird if his proportions are too messed up. So let's just take it to like I don't know, 10 even would be fine. It's a little improvement, and you can see his waist is very, very thin. So we can go to things like the waist, for example. Just deselect our search field, clear our search field there. There's abdomen scale, which you can adjust. You can make him skinny like that. Tons and tons of sliders. I don't have the time to go through all these different sliders here, but you can mess around with them on your own time and see what everyone does here. There's the muffin top, which I like to mess around with. Just been watching Seinfeld recently. Different type of muffin top here though. But there's body lower depth and stuff like this, just to kind of bring out his belly. There's the pot belly, which kind of expands the entire thing. And then of course there's like things like the chest as well. You can increase the rib cage scale. Lots and lots of details you can go into here. In addition, if you want, you can also go up here and select this morph gizmo. You're probably aware of this. You can click that on, and then once you do, it'll kind of highlight different areas that you can click and drag, and you can expand them separately. Like I can thicken his arms up like that. Maybe that's a little too thick there. And depending on which angle you approach it from, it'll expand them or contract them in different ways. Okay, so I think this guy's looking okay. Let's focus on his head. I'm not going to spend too much time on the body. Well, we're not going to worry about the body later on anyways. But if we go to his head here, we can do things like take out his cheeks a little bit more or make them gaunt. Okay, and notice that when we do that, over on the left, you'll see there's a cheek hollow slider that's going up and down. That cheek hollow slider is the one that we can mess around with. You can even use negative values on these as well if you want. Like you can put like -50, and that'll take them out. You can even go up to like -200, I believe, and that'll do the opposite. It'll puff out the cheeks more. I'm going to take off the morph gizmo for now. But maybe something like this, like maybe -50 would be okay. We don't want him to be too gaunt, but there's cheekbone height you can adjust. Various things like this. Cheekbone scale. You can have tons and tons of fun. And if you have the headshot plugin for Character Creator, there's even more detailed ones down here. So you can spend literally hours and hours just really going through all these darn things and trying to fix them up. One easy way to, kind of a cheating way to do it is just go over to here to actor, or rather to body. And there's these body presets here. So I can go to like body muscular A, for example. And this will just modify the entire body. Okay. You can increase it that way. So we were doing, individual blend shapes earlier, but this one was just like everything included. So make them a little bit beefier, maybe. You can go to head and full head. There's facial blend shapes as well here. So if we want this guy to look a bit more normal and less emaciated here, we can maybe use like this Kevin head, for example. Well, that actually kind of makes him look more like creepy, like like a very buff, maybe like a Squidward or a Nosferatu or something. Anyways, yeah, maybe something more like a neutral. Okay, just to give him a bit more depth and heaviness in his face, which we come down here to face heavy as well. You get the point, but I don't need to go explore these too much. I think you guys, you can be familiar with them just by experimenting on your own time. There's not too much to go into. I mean, there's a lot to go into, but I'm not going to show you every single one. But for now, let's go to content then. And we're going to take a look at the skin now. So let's go over here to skin in our content manager. And under skin, under full skin, we have skin base, okay? Skin base will be essentially a baked skin texture. So just like this character has right now, there's no layers on this skin texture right now. It's just one single skin texture for the head. If we go over here to materials, you can see here, it's just like the eyes, the cornea. There's the skin for the legs right here. It's just one base color map. You can see down here. Let's go to one for the head here. You can see better. There you go. So it's just one baked map right here. And what you do if you choose a skin base, what it's going to do is it's going to replace that entire all those maps. So if I wanted to, I can say, for example, go to this male thin. I don't think that one's very different from the one we have right now. You can maybe go to like male old clean or male old right here. One of these, I think the male old clean might be decent. If we throw this in, again, it's just going to replace all of those base colors, base texture maps, and it's already baked. But then once it's baked in, we'll add on different layers using SkinGen. And I'll show you SkinGen in just a moment. 2 shakes of the lamb's tail whenever this thing finishes here. And after that, we'll just throw on the hair and the beard, and then we'll move on to the fun part, which is facial animation. This is actually one of the funnest things that I enjoy demoing for Reallusion is facial, or kind of just character creation and then subsequent animation. It's because it's so fun and easy to do. It doesn't require like a lot of technical skill, really. You can go into a lot of detail, but we won't go into too much depth in this one here. As you can see, baking those texture maps takes a little bit longer, so you don't want to do it too often. I mean, if you have the time, go for it. But yeah, basically right now it's assigning and baking all the texture maps to this character, the new texture maps. So that's one of the longest the longest waits you'll ever have to have in Character Creator for doing that. Okay, so this guy looks, a little bit healthier, and it loads up SkinGen for you when you apply those skin bases. And you can see it already adds a bunch of different layers. So these are the layers from the skin base. If we take all these out, the skin clavicle, you'll see right here, this one's very apparent, the skin dull on the eye. Okay, see if we zoom on the face right there, the dull skin eye right there, that's a layer that you can take off and take on. You can adjust the opacity by clicking on it and, taking it off that way as well, increasing it. So he looks like he hasn't slept in days. We'll leave it at generous level of maybe 70 or something. And there's clavicle, there's body details, there's body vascular. This eye decal one right here, if you click that, you can see it's sort of like an overall sort of darkness over the eyes. Okay, now these are all just presets. If you want, you can see the eye decal base color map right here. You can adjust that in Photoshop. You can bring in your own custom one, and so on and so forth. Wrinkles fine right here. So it just has some, very basic wrinkles. And again, that's 100 opacity. You can take that down and so on and so forth. But you see the wrinkles right here on his forehead. Those wrinkles are actually baked into the texture, into the material rather. So you can't get rid of those unless you go back here and go to your skin head. And it's not showing right now because we're actually in SkinGen, but that's where it's baked to. And you should actually be able to see it under our head, under base skin base right here. There you go. Base color map also shows up here. Okay, so that's the base, what it looks like. Okay, but enough about the materials. I think that's we can go into a couple of skin templates, or through a couple of skin templates on there as well. So under skin, there's normal effects. One thing I like to add is facial wrinkles. Again, the realistic human skin pack comes with SkinGen premium plugin. Make sure you take a look at that. You can throw in like wrinkle templates, like full facial wrinkles, or you can go to specific facial parts and chin, eyes, etc., etc. If you wanted to give him like more forehead wrinkles, even more than he already has, we can just double click on this forehead wrinkles here and just add. Okay, and you'll see some more wrinkles appear on the forehead. We'll make him like really ragged looking. There you go. Maybe a little bit too extreme, but again, you can always take it down in the opacity to make it a little bit less noticeable. Maybe 25 would be good. Okay, and we're working in 2048 by 2048. When you export, generally you want to do maybe 4K, especially if you're exporting something like Unreal or Unity. You want to use a 4K texture just for best results, or if you're focusing on the facial animation. Let's go back to content, and then there's levels for the face. These ones are just kind of like pores that they're more noticeable on the face. I think this one should have an effect on this character. This one right here. So the micro normals, we'll just add those on. You don't want to add too many layers onto your face because it takes a little bit longer to bake and process. But see the difference here? Not really noticeable, to be honest. So we can just delete that. He already has sort of very strong pores on his face. So when you see something like that, just delete it. If it doesn't have any effect, just go ahead and delete it. This one should be a bit more noticeable on the side here. On the cheeks is where I'm kind of looking to add stuff. I'm going to add some vascular stuff there as well. Okay, here you'll notice a bit more on the eyes, around the eyes here. This area here. If I take that away, if I add it, this adds a little bit more aging and textures. Again, this is more noticeable when you go closer in with a higher resolution, because these are just pores essentially. Okay, but let's go back to our content. And under skin details, I'm going to throw in a couple other things here. Capillaries are one thing that you can really add a lot of character to the face. So let's click on this capillary cheek one. And here you'll notice some capillaries appear. It normally shows up as a low opacity, but you can increase that opacity. And once we do that, you can see it's like some broken blood vessels in the cheek there. So just various layers you can throw on top of each other and get different results. And generally what you want to do is you want to get different lighting to kind of look at the results. But again, this tutorial is going to be, or this webinar rather, is going to be more about facial animation and the beard and brow system and creating skin gen stuff in too much detail. So, I think this guy looks pretty decent. We can throw on some, maybe some blemishes. There's freckles, moles. The acquired here, you can throw on some dirt as well. Again, in that realistic human skin pack, there's some other dirts. This one's a general facial dirt. So we'll just throw that on. And then, that's about it. We'll just work with that. This one here, this dirt is kind of like, it's a little bit too splattery for me, especially the liquid dirt there. There's one in the makeup section that that's a little bit better. We'll just stick with this one. Okay, I think that's fine. He looks like he's been through an apocalyptic event right now. If you go to makeup, there's also some makeup stuff as well. Right now, there's only the eyebrows. Doesn't really matter if those are on or off because we're going to replace them anyways. So these eyebrows in Skin Gen are just materials on your character's face. They're not actual meshes. And that's going to be different from the eyebrows that we're going to add. If I go to content, I want to throw some more dirt on there. I can go to the makeup section here, and there's, miscellaneous, I believe, under this makeup and SFX, which comes complimentary with the premium plugin again. There's some mud stuff, paint stuff, whatever. Let's throw this one on here. We're going to make him look real rough. So right now he kind of looks like some creepy dude. Like, yeah, you wouldn't want to meet this guy in a dark alley. Anyway, so there's this, extra dirt layer we threw on there. You can take the opacity down on that. And it's going to bake everything on here. Okay, cool. So I think that's all we'll work with in Skin Gen. Again, any questions about Skin Gen, you can always ask me later on. I'm happy to answer those and go into more detail. There's all sorts of stuff down here that you can explore. But for now, let's just go ahead and take a look now at adding the beard and the brows. So to do that, go to our content manager again, go to our hair section. And now we have a couple of different sections here, different folders under hair. We have style, which is basically full hairstyles. You can save these yourself as well, save custom hairstyles. Excuse me, you can always go to a group as well. So group is if you want to add like individual parts. Like this is a full hair part. This will be full eyebrows. This will be a full beard, including mustache and everything else. So group is like basically mustache and beard and everything together. Elements are adding individual elements. So here you can add individual parts of your beard. Like you can add like a chin curtain, for example, a goatee, and add them all separately together. What I'll start with is just a beard element here. Let's go to just group beard here. If we go to the beard and brows builder, this is a content pack that's available in the content store, by the way. I'll try and link this later. The beard and brows builder, very, very much worth it, to be honest with you, if you're creating custom characters. I'll just use this short patchy one, okay? And it's going to deactivate skin gen. That's fine. We don't need it. I'll just throw this short patchy beard on here. So because this is in the group section here, this adds actually a full beard onto your character, as well as you can see some, you know, like kind of, it looks like you can't really grow much of a mustache here, but it's like a patchy, very patchy kind of look on the beard there. And notice that there's multiple yellow selection boxes here. Now these multiple yellow selection boxes correspond with different meshes that have all been added. So all of these yellow selection boxes are different meshes that are added together. And if we go to our scene manager, you can see them individually. There's the mustache, you just made them all invisible. There's the sparse mustache right here. Okay, that's one part. There's a soul patch, take that off. There's the sideburns right there. And finally, the chin strap, I guess that's what you call it. Okay, so there you go. So you can modify those and mess around with them individually. You can change their color. I'm going to just keep it as it is right now because I'm going to add a mustache right here. So let's go back to our content manager, and I'm going to go from group. Now I'm going to go into element. And in element, we have a number of different mustaches. And I like this Van Dyke mustache. This one's really fun to play around with. So let's just go ahead and throw that in there. And we're going to replace the current one, which is this patchy one. Okay. So suddenly he's going to go from not being able to grow a mustache to having an epic mustache right here. And you notice that, you know, the default for this mustache is that it's a different color from the rest of the patchiness on his face there. So what we need to do is we'll just go back into our modify tab here and go into materials. And here's where we just modify under the shader settings. We're going to modify the different colors of our mustache here. So the main is your black color strength. It's not going to have much of an effect right now because it's using the base color. What we're going to do is we're going to go here to strand color rather. You can see the root color and the end color. You can adjust these. The root color will basically, so it has a very strong effect. So you can see right there. This is the main root color. So for this one, we want to try and get something. It looks like a little, almost like dirty blonde there. So we can go to like a value like this, and this one needs to take the saturation way down. Oh, that's too desaturated. I'm always really terrible at finding these the correct colors. There we go. Something like that I think looks decent. Okay, very kind of darkish brown, because it's blending in with other stuff too. So that's why it's not having the exact same color. And then you can go over here to blend mode normal. You can multiply it, you can overlay it. It's not going to have much of an effect in this case, except for the overlay, obviously. But then with strand color, there's also two highlight colors. You can see that there's some white and some gray in there. The first one here is this white. If we increase the strength, just like that, you can see the effect there. So if we wanted maybe for this one to be a little bit darker, we can do so. Have it a little bit darker gray instead. Okay, you can increase, whoops, we'll just work with that, I think. Anyways, the point is to kind of get the colors similar, matching. And the affected range as well has a big effect. If you only have a small section of the affected range versus a large section, you can see the difference in results there. Okay, there you go. And then there's highlight color A as well. This one's also white. That's the white on top there. Take that down. You can see we can maybe give that a bit more of a darker tint as well. Just give it a slight bit of whiteness on the mustache there. Okay, so this huge mustache is actually a separate mesh, like I mentioned earlier. And you can modify this as with any mesh in Character Creator 3. You can modify this mesh, you can customize it by editing the mesh. So if I want to customize this mesh with it selected, I can just go into attributes up here and go to my edit mesh tool. Okay, and you can see we can select all the vertexes. There's tons of vertexes in this mesh here. We'll try maybe just curl it a bit more on both sides. Let's try this. Okay, so we'll do soft selection. Okay, and our radius is going to be fairly small. Let's just select the edge of the mustache right here. And you can see we can increase or decrease the radius to modify the selection area, just like this. If I press the E hotkey, that allows me to rotate like this, and then press W, I can move it up and then E, rotate it, W, move it up, E rotate, W, move it up. Okay, and you can take these stragglers and bring them up as well on the bottom. Sometimes the radius might not select everything. Let's just increase that radius. Oop, there we go. Anyways, yeah, you can have a lot of fun doing this stuff. We can do the same thing for the other side as well. It's not going to be even, obviously, because I'm doing a really quick job here. But I just want to have a more epic curl to his mustache. This is something that you want to take at least a few minutes doing, obviously. All right, cool. I think we'll work with that. And you can go out of edit mesh. And now it's a lot more curly on the sides there. All right, wowzers. Impressive. Okay, so we've done the mustache and the beard. Let's go ahead with the eyebrows now. So eyebrows found in the same place in our content manager. You'll find not under beard, but under eyebrows. They don't have individual elements for eyebrows yet with that pack, so they'll be in group. So we have eyebrows in group, and then there's a beard and brows builder. So you see a bunch of them here. This male wild one will probably suit this guy the best, I think. There you go. I mean, it doesn't really look too wild. Those actually look quite manicured to me. But if you go to like old sparse, this one's pretty wacky. There you go. It's like that old Chinese Kung Fu master eyebrows or something. And then there's like a male sword, which is, you know, very manicured. Much too manicured for this guy. But let's go ahead with the male wild one. That'll be fine. Okay, it's sort of wild, I guess. And the color, you know, reasonably matches. Okay, so there's our dude right there. What we can also do is finally go to the hair, which is, you know, nothing new. But hair can be found under here in group as well. There's this prime hairstyles pack that you can get on the content store as well to search for prime hairstyles. There's the hair builder that you can build individual parts. And those can be found here as well under element. You'll see hair builder. There's bangs. So you can give this guy just one bang by himself. Yeah, I probably don't want to do that. Just delete that. But you know, lots of cool stuff you can do. What I'll do is I'll throw in a prime hairstyle just to give us a base here. I like to call this one the Jude Law hairstyle there. There you go. And of course, as with anything else, you can always just adjust the material. This one probably wants to be a little bit darker as well. Okay. Having too much of an effect there. Strain color. Oh, the root color is pretty light too. There you go. Oh man, I'm so terrible at these colors. We'll just work with that. I'm not going to worry too much about this because you guys can figure it out. Yeah, and the white, maybe a few strands of gray in there. Let's have those affect a larger range. There we go. Cool. Now he looks like he's a bit older. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was going to add some strands in there. These mud spots actually start to look like age spots now. But yeah, throwing some more stuff in there. So under hair patches, there's some, you know, baby hair. There's some front for the baby hair. There's one that's kind of like, yeah, just kind of like this here, this forehead, kind of a curly one. So if you throw that on there, you can see it just adds that one little strand. It kind of just goes like that. Not what I want in this case. There is one that's kind of a bit more suitable for this guy. I think it's probably this one. Yeah, like this. And if you press W, you can move it up. Okay, so you can move it around your character like this. Okay, so very, very, you know, subtle. Because I mean, this guy's not going to slick his hair back too nicely. You can rotate it as well. The pivot point is down here, which is kind of annoying, but put it in position. Cool, and there you go. So there's all kinds of hair elements you can add, blah, blah, blah. You can throw in some, there's prime hairstyle stuff as well, like accessories, hair ribbons. You can put a flower in his hair, you know, so on and so forth. But we're not going to do that. We're going to animate his face now because we've got about 20 minutes left to do this guy, and then we're going to animate the female character's face as well. Okay, so let's go ahead and throw some clothing on him real quick just to give him some I'm going to use this Survivor Apocalypse set from Abore Art, which is pretty cool. I like this one here. Just throw on like a regular old shirt. And then throw a vest on top of that, maybe. Let's give him this kind of army looking vest here. Cool. Now he looks like he's ready to go out without pants into battle. Let's throw him some pants as well. Man. Let's take these ones. Okay, these ones you don't really want to fit the body shape because they're not skin tight. So, okay, cool. Looking good, dude. So we have our guy here. Let's take him into iClone real quick. In iClone, I'll just, well, we can even just use this guy. He's basically the same guy, but I spent more time on him. So, well, let's start the new project real quick because I can show you a way to quickly do some lighting, some scene lighting here. So let's just take the character and take him into iClone. You can do that by clicking on the Send to iClone character or Send Character to iClone button up here. And it's going to launch that guy directly into iClone. And you'll see iClone pop up here with the dude. And there's a number of different lighting presets in iClone that you can use, like IBL presets. I'll show you those briefly, and then I'll show you quick scene lighting, and then we'll go from there. Let's just give him a normal little pose here. Again, I'm just going into motion. Sorry if I'm going through this a bit fast, guys, if you're a beginner, but I'm just basically going to give him a pose so he doesn't look like he's in a T pose there. Stand, idle pose, good enough. Oh, that's too, that one doesn't look natural enough. All right, he looks bitter. I forgot to give him boots, but whatever. And let's select the character. What you can do is you can also press the J hotkey to focus on the character's face. A, S, D, F, and G, H, and H doesn't do anything, but J takes you directly to the character's face. Cool, so it looks, not bad, the default lighting in iClone, but we can make it a bit more moody by going over here to stage rather. And under stage, there's a Lightroom. There's some that are optimized for iRay. Don't worry about those right now. You can use these basic ones here. You maybe need to see something like trim light. But again, you can also go to atmosphere as well. And there's ones that are from CC. So these are the ones that maybe you want to use a bit better because they include IBL and lighting and everything like that. So let's see something that's a bit more upper body soft, maybe. Right away you can see the nice subsurface scattering through the ear there. It looks quite nice on the character. Even warm, maybe. This one looks quite nice, very warm, and has a nice reflection on the eyes. But you can, go around and experiment with these. These are just for kind of, nice looking renders. Top light, that one doesn't look too good, but I think I like the first one the best, which was the full body gentle. All right, this one looks fairly nice anyways. And what it does is it actually includes, if you go to our scene here and go into lights, it includes a number of lights that are already preset. Okay, you can turn these on or off if you want. There's the back one, the key 2 right here. Obviously not very strong in this case. Key 1, that one's very strong, okay. And kind of work with whatever you want. I kind of like this. That's looking good. And you can easily set up 3-point lighting in this if you want. I won't show you how to do that right now unless you really want to, because we'll focus on the facial animation for the rest of this. But let's go now into facial animation using the tools in iClone. Let's go to the modify panel with our character selected now. Let's go into our animation tab. And I'm going to show you the face puppet first and then the face key really quickly. Face puppet, there's a new profile, or a number of new profiles rather, for EX Plus. Okay. Now, in this case, it says we do not have EX Plus applied. So we probably, I think I might have used a character mesh or a base that wasn't CC3 Plus compatible somewhere along the line. But what you can do here is you can just add that. It'll automatically apply that to either your older CC characters or iClone 6 characters or whatever. You can click on yes here, And now you'll be able to use all the Apple ARKit blend shapes. Okay, so it'll be much more detailed. There's various ones to go into here, like there's EX Plus closed. Just all the EX Plus ones are fairly new. And you can see all the different ones down here. What I'm going to show you is individually one by one. We have ones like the eyes, for example. And if you preview, click on preview, you'll see I have those crosshairs right there, and I can move my eyes around. And notice now the eye muscles or the eyelids move along with the eyes, which is great. And that's exactly what we want. Now, all of these little presets here are assigned to the home row key. So Q, and then there's W. This is for the eyelids and squinting. And then there's E. This is kind of a different squint where you can kind of do them individually. And then R. Okay, this one's kind of just like if you're drowsy or something. And then T. This one's blinking, individual eyes. Okay, or winking rather. And then there's Y. You can make him like, ooh, what's going on? Yeah, like that. Anyways, and then there's also ones for the mouth as well. So again, I'll just briefly show you these. So this is the the Q, W, and then E. Kind of more puckered look. So you can go from side to side like this, or that maybe looks like an expression that this guy would have. And then T, you can see this one's more like just with the lips going in and out. And then Y, this one's puffing up the cheeks like that. Okay, and you can record this if you want. You can easily record it and blend them together. Let's go ahead and take a look at the lips, or rather the lips and the tongue. And we'll do a quick recording and then move on to the final character. So here you can see here, jaw, chew, tongue cheek, tongue out, lips lick. If you just mouse over all these full face controls, you'll be able to see what they are. Okay, I'm just using the Q, W, E, R, T, Y hotkeys. So this one here, press space to preview, is opening the mouth like that. And then W, this is just, side to side. E, you'll see the tongue is kind of like pushing against the inside of the cheek here. And then R, this one here is bringing out the lips like this. So if you want to lick your lips like that, very subtle lip lick, I guess. Yeah, there you go. And then you go down, it'll be like this. But and then there's T. This one's a more stronger licking of the lips here. And then there's Y, which is kind of just bringing the tongue up like this and bringing the tongue out. Again, you want to be careful using too much strength. But there you go. Okay, cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to, go back to frame one first of all. And we're going to do a quick little flick of the tongue there. Okay, so we'll just use the tongue, lips lick like that. And let's just bring our project length slider down to something smaller like this. And then let's go ahead and record and press space. Oops, we didn't have enough time there. Let's go back to frame one here. And we can always go back to mode new here to replace what we had before, or even replace here. Record again. Okay, like that. Got a couple of creepy looking licking of the lips. Then we'll take that down to here. So then what we just recorded is this. All right, cool. So let's go back to the beginning and we'll throw some different layers on there. We're going to this time go to blend. Okay, blend, and we're going to change to the eyes. Okay, and we're going to choose eyes squint right here. So as he licks his lips, he's going to be like, yeah, like that, or like a very creepy look. Okay, so let's try and do that at the same time again here. So press record, and the second one he'll be like that. All right, sorry if I'm creeping you guys out with this animation here, but it just goes to show you how strong the emotions can be created with a couple of seconds here. All right, and then browse, we can throw on browse there as well. So this one, let's take the brows up or down. Okay, this one, maybe you want to have him do each brow individually. Okay, so let's just again blend on this as well. We can increase the strength if we want to have it stronger, and then record. And use down the next one like that. Okay, so there we have that. And then, finally, I think what we'll do is we'll just add in some like maybe a little bit of smiling on the lips. Okay, so we'll go over here to mouth and we'll just use this smile frown. Okay, or we can even use this snarl lips. Okay, since his tongue is coming out, we want to be careful that we don't have the tongue go through the mouth. But let's try and preview this and just see. I think we'll go with this one here. Okay, let's give this a shot and see what it goes. I mean, again, always go back to frame 1 here and then record. Okay, so just added in a little bit of additional face movement there as well. And then finally, I'm just going to add in some like head rotation as well. So let's go up here to head orientation. Just click on that. Click on the erase to erase everything first. Then click on head orientation and head tilting. And what we're going to have is this. Let's take our strength down a little bit. Okay, so we'll just record this really quickly. Okay, so a couple of licking of the lips and some creepy head rotation, and blend it all together, and voila, in a couple seconds you have this as your creepy final result. All right, and if you want the character to be constantly looking at the camera, you can do so as well by just selecting the character and going over here to look at camera. And then if we play back, it doesn't matter where you move the camera, he's always going to be looking at it, which is even creepier. Okay, let's go from something creepy to something a bit more beautiful, a bit more visually appealing at this point. So I'm going to load in that other project that I showed you at the beginning. Let's go to open project. I was going to do some face key editing on this guy. I guess we can do it on the next character as well, combining it with the facial animation. But I do want to show you the face key editing tool, so you can do obviously facial key animation. But let's open a new project here, and it's the Freya Mocap raw. Oh, we didn't mean to save that creepy dude. Reminds me of someone you'd meet in like The Walking Dead or something. It's just gonna. They're bad news. But this next one is going to be kind of like a heroic kind of female. We'll do some lip syncing and we'll do some facial capture real quick. And again, you won't be able to see my face because the screen mirroring thing isn't working right now. But you'll just have to trust me that what's happening on the screen is what I'm looking at in my iPhone. It looks like a texture might be missing here. All right, so that's a breath of fresh air compared to the creepy last guy that we had there. So again, this is what we're going to try and recreate here.
I am the teeth in the darkness, the talons in the night. Mine is vengeance and hatred. I am Freya. Okay, cool. So let's go back to frame 1 and we can just right click on the character and remove object animation. It's going to remove all that animation. So now if we play back, nothing. Shazam. Okay, so there's a couple of ways you can get you can use Replica Studios. I'm going to go to my desktop here, and let's load up the Replica Studios application here. Again, you can get this from the Replica Studios website, and Google Replica Studios. They'll be the first ones to pop up there. And yeah, it's essentially a company that does, AI generated voices. We work closely with them. Some really high quality stuff, really excellent stuff that I've enjoyed working with before. What you'll have is a dashboard like this. And then you go to your sandbox, and sandbox will have a number of different voices you can choose. You can select the voice here. Did we click on it? Yeah, I did. Okay. So there's, they're adding different voices and different characters all the time here. The one that I just used was Freya. She's somewhere in here, probably down where the F's are.
But there's Evelyn, you can just test them out.
But unfortunately, I don't care about words of devotion. What I care about is action and the willingness to do what must be done.
Okay, cool. You get the point. You can do stuff like Fleabeard.
I quite fancy myself as a friendly pirate. It doesn't hurt to say please and thank you.
It doesn't at all. Yeah, so pretty cool stuff there. And this is the one we're going to be using is Freya here.
The Black Soul Stone contains thousands of demonic souls. It's evil. Whatever you do, don't touch it.
Okay, those are some funny words, Magic Man. She's talking about some RPG stuff, I guess. What you do is just go ahead and select the character. You can view their profile as well. So she has different style samples. There's like a lighthearted one.
How charming. Tell me, Darian, why does your breath smell so bad?
Okay, and then there's hatred, for example.
How dare you speak their names? One more word and I'll tear your tongue out of your mouth.
So you can see the intonation is very, very unique, very different for each one. They have different profiles. So very cool. We're just going to go ahead and use, I don't know, a battle one. Let's go ahead and select her. I forgot what the original dialogue was, but we can say something like, oh, I don't know. Has to be something threatening. My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble. Yay. And then we'll just go to the style we want is we want like the battle one probably, or even the hatred one, maybe the battle one. And if we play it back, it'll give us an example of it.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
All right, there you go. Sticking the chat window real quick here. Let's go to maybe the hatred one. That one seems a bit too shouty. So we'll load this one up.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
All right, that's better. So let's go ahead and save that take. But when we do, before we do that, let's go back into iClone here. And we want to go up to the plugins and go to Replica Studios and go to Replica Link. Right, so this allows us to actually directly plug the vocals, the audio directly onto our character. So this is the female character we're selecting. Make sure we select her. Right, she's ready to receive the voice. And you can download the link right here, Replica Link, by just going here. There's a getting started guide. Maybe I'll just throw this in the chat window for you guys. So this is the Replica Studios site. I'll throw this in the chat. Someone wrote, it only works in English. I believe right now, whoops, let me just make sure it's going to everyone. I believe right now it is only English, but they are working on different languages. They may have some developments since I last checked those. So check in with the website to make sure. Okay, so she's selected. We can just go back to Replica Studios, the application, and go save take. And oops, what are we on here? All hear me shall tremble. It should come up with an option to save to. Oh, I saved it a bunch of times. Oh, okay, never mind. Yeah, so it'll save. We can delete the. Well, I'll just keep it for now. So just take this and click on this download thing, and then you have the option here to export to iClone, and it says Black Arachne Front. That's the female character. And just click on that. Now, what comes up in iClone is a little box down here. You can see that allows you to choose a different style. So if we want, we can choose the style of like anger or disgust. These are just kind of presets that are actually, they work really well, to be honest. And I'll show you one, let's say like anger, for example. Let's give her like maybe a high strength. And you can adjust the strength of the LipSync later on. So what it's going to do is it's going to basically directly apply the LipSync and the facial expression all at once to your character. So you don't even have to like, modify it yourself. You don't even have to use facial mocap. You can just go ahead and apply this. And what it's going to do is it's going to, basically get your lip sync all in order. It's going to process your lip sync. And this is what we're going to end up with in a number of seconds here.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
All right. So she looks kind of angry, but maybe I'd want to make her a bit more angry. So let's go ahead and make our project slider a little bit shorter there, whatever. So So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press F3 and go into the timeline here. And you're going to see a couple of tracks, and we'll kind of just kind of deconstruct these tracks here. You'll see the first one is the Visine track, this clip right here. And you'll see my name is Freya down here. And this is the voice. It's kind of phoneticized using ARKit. All who hear my name shall tremble. Okay, so perfect. It basically took that audio and the text and sent it right over, perfectly matched. And you can modify all the different Visine shapes here as well. Okay, like this woo, for example. You can see her lips are in a woo shape. Let's close down replica link for now. Just double click on woo. And of course you can modify these like you would earlier. Woo, there's the expression strength of the woo. Go change that to O if you want, or the. Okay, but I'm going to keep it at woo at 100% expression. So perfect lip sync. And then there's the expression clip. Okay, so the expression clip, this is the automatically generated one, anger. Okay. If we want, we can send it over as a different, maybe like sadness. We can maybe do that later if we have time. We're already running short on time here. But you also have the option here to right click on your Visine clip here and go to talking style editor. Now, there's a number of different presets here you can choose. You can choose something like enunciating or bellowing. Okay, these are going to have very strong strengths. And these are the strength values for all your Visine shapes here. Okay. They're all basic right now, but if you change this to like bellowing, for example, there's going to be like some that are at 150. There's going to be very, very expressive. And if we play back now, you'll see that
my name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Much more expressive than it was before. Okay, we can change this to whisper to give you the other end of the spectrum here. I go to whisper, you see all the values will go down to lower levels right here, and then we can go like this.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Okay, obviously doesn't really suit the type of look we're going for, but that's an example of what you can do. I'll just leave it at enunciating, which is fairly strong in some cases, and that should be fine. Then what we can do is if we want to like record our facial expression over top of the lip sync without using the template one, we can just delete this right here, click on it and delete it. So now she's going to have an emotionless lip sync.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Okay, so what I'm going to do here is I'm going to do some facial motion capture. I'm just going to get my iPhone loaded up here in live face. It's pity I can't get it mirrored right now, but what we're going to do is just load up our Motion Live plugin for iClone. Go up to plugins and Motion Live here. This is the Motion Live. This is where basically the hub for all the motion capture that's done in iClone is the Motion Live plugin right here. And you can see there's live face already added up. And what you got to do is you got to match your IP address for your iPhone, which will pop up in your live face app in the iPhone. You can learn more about that on the page. But I'm just going to click on live face right here. Once that's all set up, it'll link together. One actor, make sure the face is selected for live face. And there's a little iPhone that pops up there. Now you can record audio live if you want as well. You can just click that option right there. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to set auto blink. You can set zero pose. That gives you like basically you want to look at your phone like a passport photo, expressionless with your mouth closed. But generally don't even need to do that, to be honest. It just kind of works most of the time. And what we're going to do here is we're going to go to mode, and we're not going to move around the mouth, okay? But we're going to go to new, and we're not going to move the mouth. So we're just going to go click on mouth, deselect that, deselect the chin. If we have those selected and I go to preview and
my name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Okay, that's me basically moving around, blah, 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 blah. And then
my name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
So you can see that I don't want to have my mouth I want to have it unmasked, okay, or masked out. So let's go ahead and click on the mouth and the jaw as well, because we don't want really our facial motion capture to influence our lip sync. So then what's going to happen is this. My iPhone is kind of to the side, so it's kind of weird. Like I'm looking to the side, looking at my camera. Let's go ahead and try this. Like,
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
okay, I tried my best to look angry there, but then we can just go ahead and record that. Okay.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Okay, cool. I can't see what that looks like because I was looking at my phone instead of the screen there. But let's take a quick look at it. We'll close down the Motion Live here.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Ooh, I look a little intimidating at the end there. But okay, so here we'll do a really quick facial key editing, and then we'll get to the Q&A session. So if you have any questions that popped up, put those in the question Q&A panel. I'll get to those. So say, for example, at the end, I wanted my, my expression. I think it doesn't look angry enough. Personally, it's hard for me to look angry sometimes, I guess. This part's fine because she's like, like I'm explaining things to people. And then here she's trying to look intimidating, but it's not really angry enough. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just do some keyframe editing real quick and make that a bit angrier on top of my lip sync. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's go to our animation tab and let's go to the face key editor. And in the face key editor, there's a couple of things you can do here. You can go to expression if you want to add a completely new expression template, like for example, this angry one, something like this. Pretty angry, but I don't like it. I'm going to press Control Z and undo that. What I'm going to do is individual muscles here. So let's go ahead and I'm going to press F3 and go into my timeline just so you can see the editing that I'm doing here. And you'll see that it will happen at this frame, which is, maybe, so she starts to get angry right here, maybe at frame 220. And what we want to do is just basically in our muscle section over here, for expression set, we're going to use EX plus, okay? And we're going to go to select default key. And that's going to add a keyframe in our muscle, eyeball, and head tracks down here. Now, what I'm going to do is as she gets angry down here, I'm going to take that eyebrow or those eyebrows and I'm going to click here and I'm going to move them down like that. Okay. So that looks a bit more angry to me. And kind of scrunches up the nose there as well, which looks a bit better. Okay. And then it adds that one keyframe in the muscle track. All right. And that's for all the facial muscles. I can even enhance that as well by taking the corners of the mouth maybe down a little bit. Like that. Okay, make her a bit angrier. I think maybe the sides of the nose can be flared a bit. Okay, there you go. So you can see how we're making her a lot angrier now, just by using the keyframe editing and maybe pumping up those eyebrows a bit, taking the inner eyebrows down a bit more. Whatever. So anyways. That means from this keyframe to this keyframe, now we have the much angrier Freya, okay? And then if we want, for as long as we want that anger to last, we'll copy and paste the keyframe that we created there. And then we can go over here. And what we can do is even just go back to face key and click on default key. And whenever you click on default key, it just takes it back to the default data that's stored in this clip right here. Okay, that's the easiest explanation. So from here to here, she'll start to get less angry. Okay, more angry, and less angry. Okay, and that's really all I'm going to show you. Let's play it back one more time, then we'll look to the Q&A section here. So let's play it back.
My name is Freya. All who hear my name shall tremble.
Okay, it's a little bit less angry at the end there. Cool. So yeah, that's the workflow really for, creating a nice looking character pretty quickly in Character Creator, giving them some dirty edges and, some creepy looking tongue movements. And finally, just kind of showing you at the end briefly a more visually appealing character, or visually beautiful anyways, how to quickly use the Replica Studios link to take the information, take the whatever text you're inputting in Replica Studios with the AI generated voice, transferring it over to iClone, and then adding your own touch on top of it with whatever expression you want, facial mocap or face editing. It's kind of a whirlwind tour of all the most of the facial tools, most of the animation tools in iClone there. Cool. All right. Thanks, guys. Well, let's get to the Q&A session now. So we have a couple of questions already, and we'll start with this one from Dave. I saw a video using Omniverse's audio to face with iClone. Wondering what's the benefits of them being used in combination, or is there? Yeah, I'm actually working on Omniverse tutorials right now as we speak. There's a few that were launched, I think yesterday or the day before, and a few more that are being launched later this week. In terms of using audio to face with iClone, I mean, you get to see the result live in Omniverse, which is always a benefit. It's the same thing. Later this month, we'll have a webinar that talks about doing the same thing essentially with MetaHuman in Unreal. So I'll be doing some, facial motion capture. We'll be live streaming that into Unreal Engine using a MetaHuman character, which is really cool. I'll talk more about that later this month, end of this month, and we'll have a webinar on that. But yeah, to answer your question simply, it's just really the ability to see it live in your host program or in your destination program. In this case, Omniverse. Omniverse is really cool. I've had a fun time learning about it, and yeah, highly recommend you guys checking out Omniverse, NVIDIA Omniverse. Really high quality rendering for whatever project you're working on. But yeah, that's to answer your question, Dave. Really, the only benefit, I guess. Well, there's other benefits, the lighting and all that stuff, but yeah. Let's go to the next question though from Vladimir. I'm wondering if it's possible to control the tongue during real-time face capture using the phone. Yeah, so unfortunately, motion capture of the tongue is a technology that still eludes us. It's really hard to capture the tongue accurately using facial motion capture. I imagine there'll be some technology in the future, maybe where there's actual sensors on your tongue, but at this time, no, you can only use one at a time. So essentially, you need to use the facial motion capture, and then you need to go over it and do the tongue separately. Unfortunately, there's no capture for the tongue. So you can do it live using the facial puppet tool, which I showed earlier, but unfortunately not with facial motion capture. Until someone creates a technology that tracks the tongue. It might be out there, but not available for a majority of people. So sorry about that, Vladimir. A question from Mehmet here. Can we use custom created characters animation from CC3 and iClone in outgames commercially, considering all the animations and assets have export license, etc.? Okay, this is a good question, and I get this question a lot from game studios, people who are involved in producing, like indie studios, both game studios and independent film studios as well. Can we use the animations and characters from CC3 out to iClone commercially? Yeah, absolutely, you can. Once you purchase an export license, the reason the export licenses are more expensive on the content store is because we're taking into consideration the fact that people might use them commercially. So essentially, once you purchase something with an export license, you're able to use it commercially. We do ask that you have iClone in your, or rather Reallusion in your credits, the credits of your production. So say characters animated or produced by Reallusion's Character Creator 3. That's really all we ask. There's no real financial request that we make. Aside from that, we request that let people know in the credits somewhere that you've used Reallusion content or Reallusion products for this production. And of course, if you're using Character Creator 3 to create your own custom character, like totally unrecognizable, you don't need to worry about that. It's really just a tool, and you purchase it and you have the perpetual license. So you don't need to renew it monthly. You don't need to renew it yearly. It's a huge benefit, I think, for a lot of Reallusion products right now, is that once you purchase them, you do have them as a perpetual license. There's no monthly or yearly subscriptions. So yeah, to answer your question, yeah, just the credit is requested. There may be some developers, if you purchase stuff from the content store, they may ask
for their own sort of recognition, I guess. But that's really all there is to it, to be honest with you. So yeah, go for it. We encourage you guys to use all the stuff you can in your productions. Next question is from Marco. Is there a way to mute the motion of the body so that we can focus on the face animation? Yeah, I mean, you can remove animation from your character's body. I think perhaps if you've already animated the body and you want to focus on the facial animation, what I would do is I would save the body motion and then remove it, and then you can reapply it afterwards if you wanted to do that. That's just kind of a workaround. As far as masking out the body animation, no, you can't really do that when you're doing just facial animation. The only way to do it, like I said, would be to save your body animation as a separate file, and then remove the animation from the character, do your facial motion capture, and then reapply the body animation. Just make sure you save it as a motion and not a motion plus, because motion plus will include facial data. Motions will only include body data. So if I, for example, go to my character and, we need to go into the, here and collect a clip, for example, or let's try the, we don't have any body animation. Let's just go to our collect clip track here. Oh, we need to go down here. What am I doing? We don't have a motion, body motion, but if you wanted to, like, say, for example, collect all this, if there was a body motion here, you could right click and you want to select add motion to library, not motion plus. Okay, so motion plus, like I mentioned, includes the facial animation. Motion only includes body. So if you have motion plus, it might overwrite your facial animation. So just be aware of that. Motion only. Coolio. All right, next question. Anonymous attendee. Jet Olano. I'm not sure if that's your name. I think maybe Jet. Not sure what you're. See, you don't qualify for something. Not sure what you're qualifying for. Perhaps the upgrade to iClone 8 or Character Creator 4. We've had a number of requests like that. There's always requests for people who, say that I bought back and like whatever, can I get the free upgrade? Generally, customer service will be, fairly, there is obviously rules that we have to have. There's like a cutoff date, but if you request a customer support, depending on the date that you did purchase, there's potential that you can still qualify for a free upgrade. But again, there's a very strict date on that, due date, I guess you can say, because obviously we can't go, people be like, oh, I bought in February, where's my free upgrade, kind of thing. So yeah, that's not really, I'm not really sure exactly what the criteria is on that, but I'd recommend contacting customer support, I guess. Alfonso asks, the processing of materials and morphs will take similar time in CC4, or will it be slower? Well, it should be faster. To be honest, technology has advanced. So if you're using, the same materials, same morphs, it will be faster in CC4, just because there'll be, it'll be more refined in terms of using processing power. Again, but keep in mind that we're quickly moving into the era where, you're generally going to want to have yourself an RTX card. That's an NVIDIA RTX like 3000 series card. You probably want to consider getting that in the next year or so here. And we do recommend, having that with Character Creator 4 or iClone 8. So yeah, I know they're hard to find, and sometimes you have to just purchase a completely new PC just to get a stupid video card these days. Thanks, Bitcoin. I'm just kidding. But yeah, RTX is we recommend that technology at least over the next year or so here. So just if you're going to be using it for professional production, keep that in your budget. Hopefully that answers your question there. It will go faster, but again, it will require more resources. Next question from Jefferson. Will 30 frames per second or 24 frames per second be an option in iClone 8? Yeah, absolutely. We're going to be implementing that iClone 8 to keep the answer simple there. Thanks for the question there, Jefferson. What's the text limitation and how long you can go on the LipSync? Man, I don't know, to be honest. I know there's a technical number there. It's probably somewhere on the replica site or, sorry, not replica, on our site. I mean, I haven't gone to like audiobook level, for example, but I think the longest thing I've done has been, I don't know, 2,000 frames, maybe 3,000 frames, and that worked fine. It just takes a longer time to process, obviously. But in terms of the text limitation, I don't know, to be honest. I've never gone so far that I've had an issue with the text LipSync not working because the text was too long. So just don't throw an audiobook in there. Otherwise, you may be, waiting for quite a while, or it may kind of freeze or crash on you. Another question from Chris on the eyes and tongue: how to make more realistic and less wet, or is that preferred in the final video render as it won't be as dramatic? Maybe you're talking about the wetness appearance of the lips or the eyes. If you want it to seem like less wet, you can certainly do so. You can just remove or adjust the roughness on it. Like if I select her eyes, for example, and I go over to the, selected the eye occlusion. I need to select the actual eyes there and go to modify and then go to, is it cornea? Yeah, it's cornea. And then there's roughness stuff down here, like in the iris roughness. Okay, so boom, you can take the iris roughness up, removes all the wetness from the eyes, and then metallic. And okay, so that's one way you could do it. I think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, and that's found on the cornea of the digital human eye shader. So hopefully that answers the question there. Where's my Zoom panel here? For you, Chris. And the same thing goes with the lips or the tongue or whatever. Just select it and change the roughness, essentially. Christian asks, with Motion Live, can you also use a webcam and have decent results, or do you need an iPhone? Yeah, we also work with Faceware as well. So you can use Faceware for your motion capture for your face. The Faceware gear profile is a bit more expensive because obviously you don't need to purchase an iPhone. iPhone does have a bit of an advantage in terms of that it uses ARKit, which has a increased number of blend shapes. So you'll get a bit more detailed facial animation with the iPhone, but you do have the option as well with Faceware, and it works quite well as well. All right. Vladimir, maybe I can assign a slider to things separately. I forgot what the last question was, but it seems like you don't. It's more of a comment than a question. Okay, another question from Eduardo. Does it work only with iPhone, or can we use other? Nope, like I mentioned, you can also use webcam for Faceware as well. Those are the only two right now, unfortunately. We're looking to implement the Android stuff like later on. I don't know the details on that yet, though. All right. Okay, Jet, got the name there. So Fong asks, for Smart Hair Builder, is it possible to create male type balding hair? Yeah, there's a number of different templates for balding hair that you can throw in there in Character Creator, for example. With the Brow and Beard Builder, Beard and Brows Builder, that's the one. Yeah, there's not under beard, under hair rather. There's hair bald templates. I think under Prime Hairstyle. Where am I looking here? Oh, we're in group hair builder. There's a bald template right here. I know. And I mean, another way you can do things, if you want to make him like more bald than this, you can also just simply remove some of the mesh hair. So say, for example, you didn't want this kind of like crusty looking hair on the top, like right here, for example. What you could do is you could hide that mesh in the edit mesh section here. Just again, you would have to carefully select things and Oops, not that. That's not the one. What am I doing here? Oh, we need to go to faces and select face and hide. Okay, so we need to do this with face. So hide the faces. So you gotta remove this stuff. Again, this is going to be really sloppy, but I want to show you how to make him more bald. And there you go, boom. So again, there's still some some hairs kind of around there, but and of course you can do that for the entire hair. You can just hide as much as you want. And then if I wanted to, you know, create some more strings on here, I can go back to my contents and go to the hair patches, the baby hair ones I showed earlier. Like, I don't know, these are so strange, these ones. Take this, boom, there you go. Throw that in, rotate it, move it. Again, really annoying that the pivot point is in the middle of the head. But, there you go. Oh, it's not even close. Look at it from all angles. There you go. Just that one little strand. He's hanging on to that one little strand of hair there. And then just, you know, throw more of those in there. You can copy and paste them and throw more on there and whatever. Hopefully that answers your question there, Phil. Next question is from Tony. Will there be multiple paths to upgrading to iClone 8 and CC4 beside the $800 purchase? To be honest, I'm not super familiar with the sales specials that are going on right now with the iClone 8 and CC4 upgrades. So I can't really answer that definitively, but there will be some, you know, stuff coming up here closer to Christmas for sure. I think this special that we have on right now is probably the only one that's going to be happening for the next quarter here. I mean, for the next month. And possibly up to Christmas, but don't quote me on that. Again, I'm not the person who determines the promotional pricing and all that stuff. So, but yeah, generally Q4 between now and Christmas is going to be your best chance of getting discounts, getting good discounts and stuff. And I'm not sure about the paths, unfortunately. So Alejandro asking about the upgrade price again. So. Or asking about the free upgrade again. Yeah, again, that's I don't know the specific cutoff date on that. I know there's a little bit of a grace period, but again, it unfortunately it has to be strict. You know, it's like when you're on the what do you call it, the roller coaster. That's the thing. Yeah, the roller coaster, and there's a bunch of people in line, and then you're the last person that gets cut off before everyone else goes on to the roller coaster, and then you have to wait like another, you know, 10 minutes or something like that. But it's kind of similar to that. There is a definitive cutoff date. I don't know exactly what it is, but you can always try your luck anyways, for sure. I'm not the one who's going to be able to to answer that question, unfortunately. Question from Anonymous. What's the tentative availability date for iClone 8 CC4? It'll be early next year. That's what I'm saying right now. We are going to move into beta very soon. So yeah, early next year, we're looking at Q1 at some point. But again, you know, things always get delayed. It could be later, but yeah, I'm not going to say much about that since I don't know the specific. I know how progress is going, and I think it's going fairly well. But again, lots of things can pop up. Question from Jet. If I use Wrap3D and ZBrush to get my laser scans and photogrammetry on an exported CC3 base mesh, can all the realistic new skins be applied? Yeah, absolutely. We have people that are doing this actually. So people that are, you know, applying their photogrammetry, their laser scans rather, to CC base meshes, and then they take it back into iClone or into Character Creator and apply those new skin layers on top of that. So yeah, that's actually, I had a meeting with someone today that is actually using almost that exact same workflow. So that's very possible.
Question from Chris. The main reason I asked you guys, reflection on the tongue. Yeah, okay. I'm not sure about the tongue, the reflection on the tongue, but you can always, like change the tongue texture as well if you want to go into detail on the tongue on your character. Like, oh, I don't think the tongue is actually a separate, is it? No, it's a separate mesh, and I don't know where to find the tongue. I think maybe it's part of the head mesh, or in the meshes rather. Tongue should be here somewhere. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it's the first one. Okay, yeah. So here's your tongue base color. If it's too shiny, just make it less shiny. You can use the whatever you call it in Adobe Photoshop. I'm drawing a blank right now. Just rough it down. I don't know. Alfonso, next question. We'll go to the next question here. Alfonso, any plans of Mac versions in the future? Unfortunately, not for iClone, Alfonso, or Character Creator. At this point, we're just kind of too busy keeping up with improvements and the technology advances and everything. So don't have the resources, unfortunately, right now to port to Mac. But we do have that for our cartoon animator software. Question from Sirius. Do you intend to update the auto setup for Unity 2020.3? Is there an ETA for that? If so, yes, we are working currently on working with upgrading to the latest Unity auto setup. Currently in the works. As to when it's going to be released, I can't really say that because I'm not sure how much resources they're putting towards it. But yeah, Unity is a very interesting new partner, and we're definitely going to be keeping up with them in terms of all their improvements and stuff. So you can count on our further support for the Unity platform for sure. But I don't have an ETA, unfortunately. Sorry. Question from Christian. Will there be a better integration from CC4 to new Adobe Substance Painter? I haven't heard anything on that, to be honest, but it would make sense. Again, we have very close working partnership with Adobe. So that is something that's maybe in the future. I'm not completely sure, though. I haven't heard anything about it. So I'm not going to answer yes or no on that, unfortunately. Sorry, Christian. But hopefully, yeah. Maybe something like GoZ, like we have the ZBrush one for Character Creator. That'd be really nice. Question from Tony. Can DAZ hair assets be brought into iClone if it's attached to a character and used as standalone? Yeah, DAZ hair can be brought into iClone or Character Creator as standalone or as part of a character. Both are fine. You would definitely want to use the pipeline version of Character Creator 3 to do that, though, because it includes the transformer tool, which is compatible with the G8, V8, and G3, V3 characters, as well as what's the other one? Those characters, anyways. Those base models, rather. Question from D. Will there be new hand-to-hand weapon characters fighting tutorials in the future? I've asked on registration, but nothing's ever popped up. Yeah, to be honest, I mean, it's really cool. If we had a tutorial on hand-to-hand combat with swords, it's not that difficult to do, to be honest. I've done it in a few projects I've worked on in the past, hand-to-hand combat, which is actually really fun. In terms of tutorials, yeah, I mean, keep on requesting it. I think that's something that if a lot of you guys want to learn more about, we could definitely work on getting some hand-to-hand combat tutorials out there. I'm not a master of the martial arts by any means, but I can certainly animate some stuff. So yeah, if that's a popular request, then I encourage everyone to throw that in there. Right now, I'm just kind of thinking I'm currently busy with the Omniverse stuff, and we're going to be doing even more tutorials. So our pipeline is kind of filled right now, but for future consideration, that's definitely something that I would have a lot of fun with that for sure. I mean, the last time I did a tutorial like that was probably a few years ago. Anyways, let's move on to the next one. William Chandler. Will the SkinGen, Headshot, and other plugins for CC3 work in CC4? Yeah, absolutely. So the SkinGen, Headshot they'll be integrated into CC4. Jet asks, can I email you? Yeah, you guys can email me if you want, kai@reallusion.com. In terms of response time, it may vary, but yeah, kai@reallusion.com is a way to email me if you need to get in touch. Generally, my position at Reallusion is academic sales. So if you, or independent studio sales. So if you work with an independent studio or a school or college, I kind of deal with that these days. Right? Don't deal much with the support end of things or developer end of things anymore. Let's go to Alberto. The next question here: can you make a webinar with a tool for Blender, the hair tool, and CC3, please? Yeah, we have a great tutorial on the new auto setup for Blender, but having a webinar on that I think would be a really cool approach, because we are looking to work very closely with Blender in the future. We have just recently actually started to sponsor on Blender, so we're developing very closely with Blender in the future, so that's very possible. Carson, can you show the selected triangle numbers on your avatar? Sure. This character selected right here. I think it's, what is it, Control F or F? What I have selected here. The zoom stuff's in the way. Oh, what's the hotkey for your? There's a hotkey to show your selected triangles, and I don't have it enabled for some reason in Character Creator. Oh, here we go. Well, this character is 364,000 triangles. This guy, I forget the hotkey for showing or hiding the, Control F. I thought I pressed that. Yeah, project. This guy's only 72,000. Right. Yeah, that's pretty good, actually. I mean, it's a fairly detailed character with only 72,000. It's very, very game ready for sure. Thanks for that, Carson. Last question from anonymous attendee. Are there any realistic artists using Character Creator and iClone? Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of people that are using it these days. You can take a look at our showcases that we have on our social media and stuff, YouTube channels and whatever. A lot of, very realistic cases there. ArtStation, a lot of artists there creating stuff with Character Creator as well. Okay, one more from D. Does Reallusion have any plans to do with the metaverse? Zuckerberg and his metaverse. I don't know. I have no idea about that, to be honest. I haven't even read much about the metaverse stuff. But yeah, I don't really think so at this point, but hopefully. I mean, we're definitely always getting into VR and AR stuff. So metaverse, I guess that's the next development, right? But I can't say specifically whether we're working with Facebook or metaverse, whatever it's called now. Okay, cool. So it looks like I answered all the questions, guys. And cool. That's about it. So just a reminder, fill out that survey. We're going to send you and get the 10% discount for the content store. Love to hear your feedback, suggestions for future webinars. We are kind of working on metaverse, not metaverse. Let me speak metaverse now. Omniverse. Well, too many verses these days. Omniverse tutorials right now, and there will be an Omniverse actually webinar next month in December. Not this month yet, but next month. So we can look forward to that as well. Anything else to say? Yeah, content store discount and YouTube channel, forums, always at forum.reallusion.com. Just want to cover all my bases here. And I think that's about it. So yeah, thanks everyone so much for being here today. Really enjoyed having you along, and hopefully you learned a couple of tips and tricks on animating your character's face and creating ugly looking creepy characters with weird tongues and stuff. Yeah, so let's end it off then. Thanks everyone again for attending. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are, and enjoy your 9th or 10th of November. Thanks, guys.